Welcome to Building Foundations for Education. A new school year has begun and lots is happening. Today I have special guests to bring you up to date and to keep you informed. Welcome, Dr. Cathy, Perrin, Dozie. It's so great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
And you are in a new role, and it's been a pleasure working with you at the Wabasso School as the principal there, and you were the Principal of the Year for our district, and now it's exciting to announce you in a new role.
I am so appreciative of the new role. I'm really excited and getting going. It's only been about a month. You know, it's sad to leave your children and students at the school. However, in the new role, I get to support several schools in building that same type of programming, student achievement, and working for all students at this new role.
So your new official title is Director of Secondary Curriculum, is that correct?
It's Executive Director of Secondary Education, in which we do work on all of the secondary curriculum, all middle schools and high schools supporting in that area. And I am very fortunate to have a great team of specialists that are there supporting those schools as well.
That's awesome. And as I'd like to say, this isn't your first rodeo in this type of role. You come to us from Broward, which is the 6th largest school district, I think, in the United States.
It is.
So
it is.
Please tell our guests a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. I started in education in middle school, ended being a middle school principal, a high school principal, and finished my career in Broward as the Executive Director of Exceptional Student Education Services and Student Services. So it was a full range, several departments within the division. But so the district experience I do have, and I'm happy to bring some of what I've learned. You know, you learn from not only the experiences but mistakes that are made, so you get to be a little more well-rounded in what you can bring to the table with those experiences.
Absolutely. And before we talk a little bit more about secondary and kind of giving an update, I just want to give you an opportunity to share. So many great things have happened at the Wabasso School the last couple of years. We've partnered working together.
Yes.
From, you know, our Speak Up grant with the iPads to the Real Lab to the van, and we are so grateful to Johns Island Foundation for that. But perhaps you could share a little bit about how the community support made an impact on your students, because we want to encourage our viewers to help continue future projects.
Absolutely, and again, thank you to the Ed Foundation, because you have given, and through the Johns Island grants, have given a number of students at the Wabasso School opportunities. You have expanded their opportunities for learning. For example, the Speak Up grant, providing those listening devices or technology devices which allows them to have a voice. Therefore, they participated in curriculum and communicated to their peers, their families, and their educational environment they exchange. It was awesome. And then we developed, through a second grant opportunity, the Ed Foundation supported what's called our Real Lab. And in that Real Lab, it became an actual apartment with both a residential and combination commercial kitchen. It has also initiated not one, but 3 different business opportunities for our students to learn daily living skills and occupational skills. Now, the most recent job opportunity came, and it's a business that is newly developed, are the Phoenix puppy pastries.
I saw that we had students selling the Wabasso puppy pastries at the mall this weekend.
It is, and all of the students within that school environment have an opportunity to not only make the dog treats, and they have them for large and small dogs, but they are also in the process of producing and selling. They were at the mall, and that was their first sale. So we're grateful, and thank you to all of those who supported Wabasso School in the puppy pastry sale.
That's awesome.
And the last piece was the van. That van provides now an opportunity for all of the children that are eligible to participate in community-based instruction and the job performance piece to go out into the community several days a week and experience different places.
So that's wonderful. And again, we're so grateful to Johns Island, and thank you for sharing, and we hope our viewers will think of other opportunities to support not only the Wabasso School, but all of our schools.
Absolutely.
So I know there's a new bright vision for secondary education, being 6th through 12th grade, and I'd love for you to share your vision. You talked a little bit before the show about a branding of that vision.
Yes, and so when I first arrived, it is, you know, there's all of the questions. What exactly do we do? And exactly who are the specialists within the Curriculum and Instruction Division.
Right.
Now, of course, with the vision of our superintendent and the assistant superintendent over curriculum instruction, Pam Dampier, we are focused on standards-based instruction, formative assessments, and building culture and climate throughout the district. And all of those areas, we want to help schools and support them in implementing their programs, their new initiatives, and align those with our strategic plan. That alignment will positively impact student achievement. And so that's our ultimate vision. What we did in that branding of curriculum and instruction is identifying what do we do, how do we support, how can we support,
right,
and sharing that with principals at the tiered level of support system.
So that's a lot of information for folks who maybe aren't familiar with education speak, I guess I would say. So just to kind of back up, part of what you're saying is, I understand, aligns with the school district strategic plan, right?
Absolutely.
So there's an overreaching framework. And then just sort of breaking that down a little bit for our viewers in terms of, I know you said tiered level. So what does that all mean?
So what that means is we have support specialists that are in each of the content areas, primarily in the math, science, and in our literacy, English language arts and reading,
right,
literacy programs. What they do is they support students in a tier 1 piece, supporting schools, how they support everybody in those content areas, all schools, providing curriculum support, instructional strategies. As we move to more intensive support at a tier 2 level, there may be new teachers, there may be teachers teaching a different area or subject area that may need a little more support in classroom coaching, that side-by-side kind of support in developing lessons, or actually in the instructional piece. And then in a tier 3, that's our most intensive support that's being offered by specialists, and that would be almost a one-to-one.
Right.
So we are ensuring and supporting new teachers and veteran teachers in providing the best instructional opportunities for students.
Absolutely. And I would think there are certain priorities or focuses. I know you had mentioned social, emotional, and that's such a hot topic right now. And I think it would be helpful for our viewers to understand, what is social emotional. It almost sounds kind of crunchy and like huggy, but that's really not what it is at all.
Well, social emotional learning has to do with looking at the whole child.
Right.
You know, we always compare and we go first to academics and academic performance. But what are those things? There's competencies, social emotional competencies like self-awareness, and what are those things that will help children stay with us and stay focused, that maybe the outside or maybe an environment outside of the school environment that is impacting or maybe becoming a barrier to their learning.
Right.
So we want to build those social emotional competencies within our students to be self-aware and self-regulated and participate and own a lot of their own performance.
Absolutely. And I can say this as a parent, I think transferring or moving up from elementary to secondary is different. And so are there some tips or suggestions you can make to parents who are watching on how can they support at the middle school and the high school? And I think there's almost people think, well, at that level, they really don't want parent involvement, but actually that's not true.
It is not true. And over the years, and again, 26-year careers wrapped around secondary education, they will come home, and when you ask, how was your day, they will give you few answers using few words. However, it is probably the most critical time in which to be involved. Continue that conversation, have those conversations, allow the student or your child, depending on which grade level, talk about their experiences. It may not be everything you want to hear in the beginning, as far as you may want to know exactly how they're doing academically and how their classes are going. They may want to focus on the social part. Allow them that opportunity, and then you can bring in the academic piece. And they will become willing to share. But please remain involved. It is most critical up through the graduation piece. They do want us, they love structure, and they enjoy someone paying attention to their needs.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you want to touch a little bit on, there are ways that parents can stay involved through Focus or other, and we're going to have Kristen on here in a minute to talk more about that. But from your viewpoint.
Great. So absolutely. You know, I would tell you first and foremost, stay involved with the school, stay involved with their teachers, communicate. Teachers are willing to communicate those needs. So many folks have opportunities through social media now.
Yeah.
Stay involved with our website because each area has a website and a website page where things are updated regularly. So those types of areas are very important to stay in the know of the entire school district in operation, but focusing individually on your child's school would be beneficial.
Absolutely. So I know that school has been in session really, as we said, we're 3 weeks by the time this views 4 weeks, and you have a lot on your plate ahead of you. So what's one thing that you are most excited about in this coming year, bringing your wealth of experience that you really hope to impact for Indian River County?
I think it's really working to support schools and principals and working to develop and build capacity amongst leadership, because the second most impactful intervention or strategy for student achievement is the classroom teacher is absolutely first, but that second layer is leadership. So leadership does matter. And I hope to be able to support our leaders in becoming those successful.
Absolutely. And I think there's been such a shift even in the past 10 years. Really, principals had been building managers to now becoming leaders of instruction. And I remember a study that said by having a principal who is a strong leader of instruction, it can advance reading gains 2 to 3 months faster than a principal who isn't. So I'm sure that's something that your efforts will support.
Absolutely. You know, research speaks to that 80-20%, 80% of an instructional leader, 20% of that organizational leadership, which you still have to have. We have to provide that safe and secure and highly structured environment for students. But it's true, we want leaders to develop and spend 80% of their time being an instructional leader, supporting their teachers, and working with students. Yes.
Absolutely. And last but not least, I feel like I want to give a shout out to our principals as hurricane season approaches. We hope we don't have hurricanes, but that is something last year I think our principals did an amazing job managing buildings and managing their students and leading learning and so many different aspects. So just a big shout out of gratitude to our instructional leaders.
We do want to thank them also because we started this school year and had an exceptional opening, especially the first 2 weeks. That was an exceptional opening at all of our schools. So we do want to say thank you to all of our leadership. Yes.
Thank you. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on, Cathy, and I hope that you'll come back. And as we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share?
Not at this time, other than we do wish everyone well, a great school year. And thank you again for having me.
Thanks. Thanks for being with us. We'll be right back.
The School District of Indian River County is active and adding followers daily on social media. Wondering what's going on in our district? Do you want to see pictures and videos of our teachers and students doing amazing things and keep up to date with news, events, and hot topics? Follow us. On Twitter, search for @IRC Schools, and for Facebook, @School District of IRC. Are you looking for a way to access our school board meetings from home? Find us on our district YouTube channel, youtube.com/School District of Indian River County. You can also view video segments of exciting community events that have taken place in our district. Tune in to Comcast Channel 28 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99 to view district news regarding course registration, event information, transportation, and school news.
Welcome back to Building Foundations for Education. As we were saying, the school year has just begun and staying informed is a great way to support your student. With me is my very special guest, Kristen Maddox, who is our Public Information Officer for the School District of Indian River County. Welcome, Kristen.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on. Usually you're on where I am, so it's kind of like we're switching seats here today.
That's right. Yeah, we do Community Corner Show once in a while, and I'm the host, so it's nice to be in the chair in this side today.
Yeah, so we hope people will tune into your show as well. But you do an amazing job providing our school district and our community ways for parents and leaders and stakeholders to stay involved. And there's been so many new great initiatives this past school year and this year that I thought it was a wonderful opportunity to talk about that and to let people know. So, but let's first start with your background. I know you've been in your position about a year, but you are not new to the school district.
No, I'm not new to the school district. I started working for the school district back in 2007, shortly after I graduated from the University of Florida, and I was a teacher at Vero Beach Elementary, one of our Title I schools, and most of the time I spent there, I was teaching ESE. So I did traditional second grade and traditional fourth grade for a total of about 8 years. And then I had another skill set. I decided to apply and was accepted as the public information officer for the district. And I've just been having a great time in this position.
Well, and I thank you that you for your leadership. And as I said, I feel like it's been a great way for our community and parents, as a parent myself, to stay more involved. So why don't you share a little bit about your vision, and then we can talk about the different things that you've developed to help that.
Well, my vision comes from a unique perspective, being a parent with 4 boys in the district, being a teacher, and then being on the other side now working for the district. I kind of understand what the community needs to know, what parents want to know. So I try to communicate very transparently, openly, honestly, and on multiple platforms so that everyone is getting the information.
Absolutely. And I think that's important that you said platforms, because it's not just one way, and sometimes people have a misunderstanding about why or how essential your position is to the community and essential to the school district. Can you talk a little bit about those platforms, from media inquiries to, to the other ways you've developed to communicate?
Sure. So, it's a new age, and we are using social media to communicate. We know that lots of students and lots of parents and community members use social media. So we have our district Twitter and Facebook accounts. But we also know that not everyone is connected that way.
Right.
We use our school messenger calls to get important information and notices out to parents and families. We are looking to start our text messaging so that we can also contact parents in that way. And we have a new newsletter that is the Connection newsletter. And it's basically just filled with lots of different events that have happened that week. It is a weekly newsletter, goes out every Friday. And I ask for community members and parents and students and teachers all to contribute for different ideas to put in the Connection. And you can do that by emailing social media at indianriverschools.org, sending in pictures or just ideas or thoughts for the Connection, and I'm always more than happy to include them in issues.
So that's a really great point, because we certainly want teachers and principals to contribute, but there may be also different nonprofits that have that could contribute to that as well, that are offering maybe tutoring or enrichment opportunities. So that would be another opportunity for them to promote that as well.
Absolutely, and I have had organizations reach out to me that have done certain photo contests for our students or giveaways for our teachers, and it's a great way to just share that information, because it is sent out to all of our employees. It's posted on the district website. It's shared on social media.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think there's never a fear of oversending. So, for example, we're excited. We had 2 students through the Indian River Regional Science Fair that were selected for a Broadcom Top 300. So that was Zachary Hessler and Lucy Long. And so the great thing about that was, I know I sent it, and I think a couple other people, but that's okay, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely. I love to have a lot of material and a lot of information to work with, and the more the better. One of the ways that I share information is through press releases, as you know, and I like to put together a press release that reporters and our local media can really take pictures from, take quotes from, information. Makes their job a little bit easier when gathering information, and it just tells the entire story. So we can really highlight and focus on the students and the teachers and everything that's going on in our district.
Absolutely. And I think you were mentioning about the texting and the, what is it called, all call, the voice call.
The school messenger calls.
And I wanted to touch base on that, because if families are listening and perhaps they're saying, well, I'm not getting that. Can you tell them how can they make sure that that information's coming to their phone?
So the main thing would be for school messenger calls right now is to make sure that your information is accurate and focused. So you'd want to, if you're not getting these calls and you think you should be getting these calls,
Right.
you need to contact your school and speak to the school secretary or whoever is in charge at updating the information in focus, and make sure that you have a correct primary number
Right.
and correct names within that system.
And for those who are watching who may not know what focus is, can you kind of give a, what would you say, an outline of that? I know as a parent, I know focus, but there might be people watching who don't know what that is.
Right, absolutely. So Focus is like a student portal, student parent portal that you can go to that has just so much information. You can check your students' schedules, you can check your students' grades. I mean, there are just so many things that you can click on and so many filters that you can get different information about your students. I would highly encourage parents to go to Focus, to set up an account if you haven't had access to the account before. And like I said, just make sure that all information is up to date because it's a really helpful tool for parents to have. I know as a parent, I check Focus almost every night.
Me too.
Especially for, my middle school son, making sure that his assignments are turned in, checking his grades. Wait a second, there's a missing assignment here. Why didn't you do page 6 in your algebra? So it's really, teachers are updating it daily, sometimes weekly, depending on, the teacher and what their preference is. But it is a really good tool to keep your students on track and to keep informed.
Absolutely. And before we talk a little bit about why that texting component is going to be so important, especially during storm season,
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about, there's so many resources on the district website. It could almost be overwhelming, but on that opening page, especially under student parent, there are great resources for even families whose children may not entered the school district, but will be, like with the technology.
Right, absolutely. And we are working on a new website that we hope to be launching toward the end of the year, beginning of 2019. And I'm hoping that this will be a very user-friendly, very visually pleasing website. And that will keep us a little more up to date with the rest of what some of the school districts are doing in Florida as far as how the website looks, as far as having apps on our phone that we can use to communicate with parents and students, and we're just so excited about that. We've been waiting for this for a while, and we've heard from the community and from within our district that this is something that we needed, and it's wonderful to finally see it in progress.
Absolutely. And I was pleased to have been on a panel that reviewed some of the other counties, and it was exciting to see what's working well in other counties, kind of even sometimes what's not working so well, to help you
Right.
kind of compare what we have. But one of the things that was discussed was that text feature. And to some extent, people may say, well, I don't want to be getting text all the time from the district. But my understanding is that is something that would be used like for an emergency or safety or weather update. Is that correct?
Right, exactly. And you would have to opt into it.
Okay.
You would receive a message. You would have to opt in whether or not you would want to receive these text messages. However, it is something I would highly recommend for parents to opt into because we would be using it for emergency text messages. If something's going on at your school that we know parents would want to be aware of, the parents at that school would receive a text message explaining the situation,
Right.
help ease everyone's nerves, and give them immediate information.
Right. And I think that's such an important point, that there is a focus for that.
Right.
Not that it's casual for a cause day, but that maybe we always hope there's nothing that happens from a security standpoint. But I think in light of the events of this past year, I think it's really wise that we're looking at these ways to be able to give parents and caregivers quick information and to let them know what needs to happen next if something did need to.
Absolutely. And I know as a parent it can be scary thinking about things like that, but the most important thing is for us to be prepared as a school district, and we want to be prepared for all situations and make sure that our students and teachers and staff, that they're all safe.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot of information, from encouraging parents to make sure their focus profile is up to date so they can stay informed, to checking out the community connection, to watch your show.
Right.
What else is there that you want to touch upon before we wrap up?
I just want to let parents know that my line is always open, my door is always open. Like I said, I do have a unique perspective, and I understand the concerns and the thoughts that parents have. So you can always contact me at the district office. Please subscribe to all of our social media and YouTube channels, contribute to the connection. The community and parent input is what is so important. And I know that as a parent and as a previous teacher.
And I'm glad you mentioned YouTube because we forgot to touch upon that, but that is another great way that parents can see a lot of performances, right?
Correct.
From different school performances to shows, right?
Right. We do a lot on YouTube. We have our football team has a YouTube channel that they stream all the games on. We have our YouTube channel. We have our board meetings and our workshops on. And we also use it for videos that we make within our video production team that just highlight a lot of different events that are going on around our district.
Right. And last but not least, I know I'm excited about the new License for Learning tag that's coming out. It sort of takes a page from the playbook of Endless Summer. And so I know I'm so excited the district has agreed to help me promote that, because every time a tag is sold in Indian River County, $20 goes right into classroom grants. And today, in fact, we have 7 semifinalists that will be presenting and in a way competing for over $30,000 worth of grants here in Indian River County. So we hope that if you're watching that you'll look for that new tag that has a beach scene of readers on the beach. And we'll have that picture up here as you're watching and listening to us. But we hope that people will be supporting that very quickly here in the month of October that's coming up.
Absolutely. And as always, we're so blessed to have the partnership with the Education Foundation, and just thank you for all that you do for the district.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So thanks for being with us, and we hope you tune in again soon.